Welcome to the first episode of The Wit. Man, it feels so good finally saying that. I have been putting this off for a long time now. It's been at least 2.5 years, and I'm super excited to get started. It's going to be a bit of a longer introduction to this episode because I'm introducing the channel and myself. It's not just this episode itself. We'll get to that in just a minute, but hi, my name is Billy Bissell, and I'm a recent graduate from SUNY Cortland, where I studied sport management in upstate New York. I'm originally, and still, from the city, from Manhattan, and I've grown up there all my life, and I'm still living with my parents in an apartment building. Unemployment life is, I was gonna say rough, but it's been pretty great. I'm grateful for them helping me out right now. So before college and before everything, I was a sports fan. I grew up that way, and I was born into it, and it's been that way ever since. It's not gonna change. So I love ball, but now I've kind of just tapped into the business side of it. So going into high school, I've always loved sports. I played it a bunch. I went into high school wanting to play high school baseball, maybe another sport. That didn't work out, but I love playing football with my friends, basketball, of course, almost anything with a ball. I went to Xavier, but that's kind of where everything started. For context, Xavier High School was a school in Manhattan, was an all-boys private school that got my feet wet with working in sport and learning about the business side of it. There was the sport management club that I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know what sport management was. The selling point to me was it had sport in it. That was it. And the club was majority, like 90%, talking about ball. That was it. It was lunch conversations extended into our club period. The one memory that comes back to me was Jets Business Day, where we got a chance to look at the behind the scenes aspect of game day, of what it's like actually running a game. And it's not just the players on the field. There's a lot more that goes into it. And I remember really being interested in the media aspect too. But that was just a taste of what is available out there. So that's where I got to start. And then also I joined our club called Night Vision Network, which was a broadcast club which we broadcasted our basketball and football games. And that's where I first started calling games. I got a chance to do stats a little bit with basketball, and then do play-by-play and color for it. And I did some sideline with football. It was a lot of fun. And for some reason, I was drawn to it, and I loved it. And that's definitely where I can remember a big moment where I can go back to my play-by-play career and think that's where it all started. I played baseball in high school, but my dream of playing shortstop for the Mets soon fizzled out after senior year, where I was actually a PO, and I didn't even play the field that much, and that was it. So I shifted my focus to the business side of it, and I was interested in sport management. And when I figured out that you can declare it as a major, that's all I cared about. I applied to schools that specialize in sport management, and Cortland happened to be that school. And it took me a year, but I finally joined clubs, and I got internship opportunities and work opportunities to be in sport but not playing. It was a different concept to me, and I loved it. I really did. I started calling games for club lacrosse through a sport videography club, and that's where I came back to play-by-play. And it was something else that I stopped thinking about after my junior year of high school that I got reintroduced to. And then that led to calling varsity lacrosse games. And I had a blast because also I knew nothing about lacrosse. I had to look up videos on YouTube about the rules, ask friends about terms, and just roll with it. And that was it. I just said yes to it, and we kept it pushing. I eventually would get a job working at a local radio station called WXHC X101 Always Classic in Homer, New York, with a partner named Zach Wexler, who was also a student at Cortland, who was awesome, and who we developed a great relationship with. afterward, and during our time working for the station, calling these Friday Night Lights high school football games. So much fun. Meeting with coaches before the game, compiling whatever stats we could. It was amazing, and I'm sure we'll have him on the podcast to talk more about those stories. And I did that for 2 seasons with him. And then my senior year, we had to get 480 total internship hours. And I went back to Homer, not exactly to the radio station, but to the high school, to do social media and public address announcing for basketball and lacrosse. And I developed an incredible relationship with the AD, who just gave me the keys and let me go, whether it was managing social media on the live, or I was doing announcing, and that was so much fun. I got to meet a lot of the players, the coaches, and just really have fun with it. And I'll put some videos and stuff in the future to show my experience, but it was so much fun, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So the first episode of The Wit, it's an episode with my good buddy Evan O'Brien, who also went to Cortland, and we have a podcast too called Down to the Wire, which we stopped recording recently, but he looks to bring it back. And he was an amazing guest, but the show itself is broken up into 2 segments. So the first one is Business with Bill, and that looks at the business side of what the guest is doing. So for Evan, what he's been doing lately in the sport world, what he has done, his experiences with it, the truth about how he felt about each experience, and what we can take away from that if someone who is in college and recently graduated. The second segment is Ball with Bill, and that's just general ball talk. We're both big baseball fans, so we had a lot to say about our respective teams, and of course with the NFL season starting, we had to get into that. For warning, the episode was recorded about 5 days ago, so some time has definitely passed, but there's still a lot of good relevant topics, and the stuff is still great, so I just had to post it. There are also some editing tweaks to keep in mind, some weird cuts. We recorded over 2 days, so it kind of came out a little weird, but it kind of came together good enough, I think, for a first episode, so I'm really happy about it. So after a long introduction, I'm going to shut up now and let me talk again, but thank you so much, seriously, for everything, and I can't wait to get this thing started for the future of this channel, for the Instagram, Spotify, everything that comes with it. It's going to be so much fun, and you guys get to be along the ride with me, and I'm so excited. So enough from me. Without further ado, enjoy the show. All right, joining me now for the first episode on the Wood Podcast is my good friend Evan O'Brien. We became good friends in college, and we're here to talk business with Bill. And I'm super excited to have Evan as my first guest, because not only is he someone who we share a lot of similar takes and similar favoritism to sports teams, but you've been working in the sport industry a lot lately, and I feel like you would have been a perfect first guest. So, Evan, how are we doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, we met probably our junior year in the fall, and yeah, I've been doing Cooperstown recently. The last 3 years, this time in a new position. We'll get more into that, but yeah, I'm glad to be the first guest.
It's pretty surreal, I've been kind of I guess I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but you came up to me, was like, yo, I want to make a podcast. We have a podcast called Down to the Wire. It's on Spotify. We recorded a decent amount of episodes, and it was so much fun doing it. And that really, I already had this thought of kind of want to do something, so you coming up with that idea was like, oh my gosh, like, absolutely want to do it. That got the ball rolling for me, so I'm glad to now kind of, to try and, host a little bit of my own thing. So it was just a match made in heaven. But yeah, let's go into it. So your industry experience. So I did some digging into the LinkedIn a little bit, and first I saw that you started off as a soccer referee, like way back when. Like how old were you when you were first doing that?
Well, I was also playing at the time too.
Oh, you were?
So
okay.
It got to a point where when I was like the older range where like I helped coach like U6, U8 stuff. So I'd say maybe like 10 and 12 range. I'd say around that time.
So that was
Still
like your
playing.
first working experience, kind of, you know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I
That's
was getting
pretty
paid.
cool.
I was getting paid.
Getting paid at 12, 13? That's not bad. Like, I mean, so you did that, and then, I mean, that was really just only because you just liked playing sports, right? Like, it wasn't really, like, anything in any sort of extra thought. It was just, okay, you could just do it.
Yeah, like at the time, like it was pretty much soccer and baseball. Soccer was kind of like at the time it was a little more than baseball at the time. And then when I was doing it, as Albany Youth Soccer program as a rec thing, and then my dad was kind of like the head of it at the time. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And we would just
Yeah.
so I'd like pretty much show up on like the Saturday games. That's when all the games happen. Like they start from U6, U8, 10, 12, and that. And so I would probably be miserable coming to the field, helping set up every morning as just a son of the person that's like, I guess, I don't know if he was like the president of it at the time, but kind of, yeah.
So you already started off with, even though it was very early, but setting up, like, you were doing game day operations or just like event operations without even you realizing it. I mean, like, seriously, I mean, do you feel like that experience at all kind of, was it like familiar to the stuff that you are doing now with Cooperstown?
I guess now that I'm thinking about it, but like it was kind of just like setting up. I just was like doing what my dad told me to do. So
Sure, no, of course.
So now, like when I was working Cooperstown, like especially when I worked the baseball operations, we would be setting up our skills thing. That's kind of similar to that, I would say, aspect. Setting up plates or just like those rubber mat plates, some cones, our inflatable cage nettings we had, and obviously some baseballs and some baskets, those rolled baskets, whatever they're called. So yeah, there's similar aspects to that.
Was there ever, like, what was the first thought with playing sports for you? Did you want to, like, have the dream of playing pro, was pro soccer or pro baseball? Did that kind of started off? Because I feel like that's everyone.
Yeah, I feel like every passionate kid playing sports wants to obviously go pro at an early age, no matter what. And like, soon reality hits a few years down the road. Like, even for me, like, I knew like I wasn't going to go pro, but like I was like trying to like go into college, hopefully. But like after like the COVID year, I was in my gymnasium, just pitching a bullpen session, and then that after the kind of practice was winding down, we heard about the whole 2 weeks kind of stuff that everyone got, and then it came to pretty much a whole year, and that kind of just kind of messed up my arm a little bit, I guess, later on the road. So now I never really got to ever like chance to pitch, like even like a D3 or something, JUCO.
Did you ever try out for the club team or go into it even more? Yeah.
If I was, I'd probably have to just hit. I don't think I could really throw as well as I would want to. Like, I can throw, but eventually if I do too much, I definitely still feel the pain that I felt after that COVID year.
So after COVID, it kind of just fell off where, all right, playing might not be in the cards. You know, might not be wanting to play college baseball or even college soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But was there still something that wanted to keep you towards sport, or why did you even pick sport to even to think about as an option to work in?
I don't know. I just love sports. There's nothing really too much to say for that. I don't know. I feel like we've mentioned off of this, like I have some like just Excel docs of just like sports stuff. I just like thinking about stats and stuff like that. Like even when I did have a baseball scorebook as a kid, and I low-key would pay attention to games and fill that out. while watching games. I want to
But by the
bring
way,
that back.
I just to cut you off a little bit. I started doing that recently too. It's awesome. I love it.
Because I am going possibly a game this Sunday, Yankees Blue Jays. I probably want to get a scorebook, go to like Dick's or something, and get one real quick. But I might wait another year for another game. But yeah.
But no matter what, you kind of want to stay around it, whether it was keeping
Yeah.
stats or doing something along those lines.
I know Game Changer has taken over baseball a little bit, but there's still the old school aspect of just the pen and paper.
It doesn't hit the same. I know Game Changer too. I was taking that during my senior year when I was on the bench in the dugout. That's all. I was the Game Changer guy senior year.
I was that Game Changer guy my sophomore year of varsity baseball.
Nice.
I was that guy. I loved doing it.
Yeah,
I
know.
Do those stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, because it was important too. But there is something always nice about actually taking the real stuff. I haven't done it where I've gone to a game and kept the score, but I want to. That was my intention because I saw plenty of people doing it. But right, I mean, so this whole thing about you wanting to even work in sports, you just love sports. I mean, the same thing. Like I just love ball, and I want to try and take it as far as I could with baseball. Same thing with me. I love baseball. That was my first sport, and when it kind of started to run out a little bit and maybe things just got to a different level that I just wasn't called to do, and that was tough at first for me, at least. I don't know how it was for you to get to the mindset of, all right, now this is it, because I'm sure you love playing and just playing the sport, but was it difficult to shift gears a little bit?
Not really. I don't
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, not really. That's a pretty simple answer right there.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, sure. So you go to Cortland, and you declare sport management, right? And did you declare it because were you taking classes in high school about sport management, or was it another thing of just you love ball, and now you can work in it?
Low-key, when I was applying to colleges, I was like looking at majors, and I was like, nothing really seemed very interesting. Like marketing was probably like the closest thing that I'd probably look forward to, and then I like saw sports management, and I was like, what schools around at least New York I was started for looking at sports management. There was like Oneonta, Syracuse, Cortland being the main one, and so yeah, my sister went to Oneonta. I didn't want to go to Oneonta because of her, but so I went to Cortland. So that's pretty much why I went to Cortland, to be honest.
To get away from your sister, forget about everything else.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to the same school as my sister. Like, even though, like, yeah, Cortland has obviously a better program, but, like, yeah. So.
Okay. So then you go to Cortland for sport management, and, did you have, we all took foundations. We both took foundations. You had Han for that, right? I think he was the only guy teaching it, or did you have someone else as your professor?
I never had Han.
Oh, you never had Han.
I tried voiding him. Like, early freshman year of, like, having him as my advisor, I just, like, knew this guy sucked. And I heard the stories about him, and, like, I just, like, I don't know who I took for that class, who I had, because I did not have Han.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, good for you. And he was. Here's what I'll say about him quickly, because we had this professor named Professor Han. He was kind of this figure in the sport management department as someone that you really never wanted to have because he was strict. He gave tough assignments. I'll say this: I always respected Professor Han. In foundations, he was tough, but it was almost felt like that rookie treatment that they get when they first get into the league, trying to really break you in about how serious they take this program. Because that was the first sport management class I got introduced to. So that kind of showed me how serious they really, and how much they cared about it, right? So that was good. But then when I took another class with him, I think it was event management, he opened up a lot more. He still was pretty strict about certain rules, but he opened up a lot more. And let me tell you, outside of class, the nicest guy you ever meet. Such a sweet, down-to-earth dude. So absolutely avoiding him in the classroom, I totally get it, but I respect Professor Han a bunch. but anyway, to not get sidetracked, you had that foundations class. Were there any classes that you could point to in college that felt pushed you to go into more game day operations, or even you said you had an interest in statistics? Was there ever a thought of taking a statistics class too?
I did take a statistics class. I don't know if it was part of sports management at the time, or like at least under the for credit for that. But yeah, I definitely did. I think it was event. I think it was just event management. I think it was with Professor Morris. Yeah, I took that class. It was kind of like creating a small venue event. Mine was like a wiffle ball tournament, and simply just like used a field for the St. Rose locally in Albany as like my target, and like having multiple fields in that one area. So that was fun, kind of like in some way creating some sort of event. I didn't take the one where people actually lived it out and actually made one on campus, though, that class. I never took that one. I wish I did, to be honest. But I have participated in some people's event, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And do you feel like did that kind of help out with anything with Cooperstown? Like, honestly, like, because, I don't know, I feel like people always ask about if Cortland Sport Management Department, it's great for the connections and it's great for the opportunities that it could give you with some internships, but do you feel like the classroom helped with knowledge about a field or doing a type of experience?
Yeah, I feel like Cortland definitely has the great opportunity with our alumni, especially like some classes we have to like reach out to alumni, and it's crazy how much they have knowledge of. There's one I think we had for like doing something about the NFL internationally, and I believe her name was like Katie. She was amazing to talk to for that class, and so yeah, Cortland provides that opportunity tremendously. And for Cooperstown and the things to reach out for, it's great. We have a lot of great locals, area sports teams, Colgate, Ithaca, even if you want to say that, but Syracuse.
It's a bad word for Cortland.
Q's Crew.
There you go.
Even the Bills. I know some people working over there. This I think over the summer or right now this fall, so that's pretty good for the rest of the community.
Yeah, and I want to go into that Cooperstown because that's your personal experience. You did it for the past 3 summers. You were in baseball operations. Recently, you did a little more grounds crew, but also had the chance to do photography and work as a technical director, which I think is pretty awesome, especially given this is a Little League baseball tournament. So I think that's pretty sweet. So can you talk about that experience either from working as operations and then working as a photographer too, which is something that, you know, just from your background didn't seem like would be something you would go into? Yeah,
starting off with the baseball operations, it definitely sucked with the long hours. That was like my first like probably experience dealing with like long hours. And there was this one tournament where we had a game end at like 4 in the morning. I clocked out around like 4 in the morning. Yeah, like it was. First off, it was a great game. Pitching duel, 1-0 game. The only run was off a solo shot. It was a great game. The best, like, perfect game we could have had with, like, just pretty much the families of those teams just in the crowd. No one was really there after that rain delay. But perfect. It's a lot of great memories doing operations there. It's a good, fun environment. My boss, supervisors, great people that I had to work with, great people to like actually like show you the ropes, and like they're on your side. They're trying to help you get through this summer. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes dealing with some of the interactions with the guests and trying to deal with them. Like once you get used to it, it's like, yeah, we're not gonna deal with your BS today. We're just gonna try to get through you and like get these games in, do it more with the kids because sometimes the parents are the main issues, not the kids at all. And photo is very fun, relaxed vibes. Still some long nights, especially with if rain happens. Rain's the worst for baseball, so it definitely was more of a chill, relaxed vibe, but still able to do a lot more this year since they already knew me in the past. So I got to do some other stuff with some camera work, stuff like that.
Yeah, so going back to the reality of game operations with the weather, with the long hours, because baseball and sport is so bipolar with what can happen from the ups and downs, and it's very dynamic. What is the very real and honest feeling of working that long of a game, and is it something you had to just learn to accept and that you're okay with accepting, or is it something that has turned you off from working in that type of space?
Well, the long game wasn't that long because I think pretty much clocked in at like 3:30 that day, but obviously like ending the night in the morning was not ideal.
That's crazy to me, by the way.
So like it wasn't that long of a shift. That'd be like a regular shift for hours, but like being in the morning still kind of was the whole big deal of that. But we got through that game. Everyone was ready to go. Grounds crew prepared to do their thing. I believe Adam, a fellow Cortland student, I met him there through the Cooperstown. He was probably working that field while we were probably just like getting ready to prepare for that game as well. So a lot of people hands on deck for situations like that definitely helps.
So you appreciate, though, like that point about like you have a team, you're working with the team, and you are kind of in it together. Did you feel that sense of camaraderie with the other workers there, and were you able to build those relationships, or was everyone was kind of on their own?
Yeah, working there with the other departments, like we all are going through this whole summer together, dealing with some crazy stories and stuff like that. So we're all kind of like we're all one community, and like we're trying to get through this summer every week by week with these hundreds of kids, thousands of kids throughout one summer coming in and out. So we have to prepare each week for a new batch of teams and players coming in. So we definitely have a strong bond. I definitely made some good connections with other departments, not of just my own, dealing with these situations, even just having conversations mid-work or after work. So yeah.
In that environment specifically, is that what you like the most about game day operations, or just working with that type of organization, whether it's a little league or maybe it's some other long like camp type of feel? Is that what you like, or is there something else that kind of that really takes your attention and really turns you on to those jobs?
I really like the operations part of the most part. Camp stuff can be a little challenging with 12-year-old kids. It's can be hectic, especially this year with some certain memes being thrown at me every day. You already know.
Oh
probably.
No.
Yes, I bet like this is the one of the worst summers for like some sort of like camp kid counseling thing, anything to do with kids in this age range. But yeah. It was still good.
I had so many of the brain rot jokes in my head, but I'm really going to save them because they're going to be so cringy that I'm going to kick myself.
Hold off of that.
Exactly, if I go back and edit it. So we're going to just table that. So overall, you loved the experience with working there. Even working with the kids, sure, like that. There were some hoops, but overall, the operation part kind of kept you involved, and you just enjoyed setting everything up, getting the games together, just making it all happen. Is that how you would describe it? Like, what is the feeling you get when you are working at Cooperstown specifically?
The feeling is kind of just a little bit of stress with dealing with every week. It can be
honest, so honest.
It can be, but it's also some funny moments, just dealing with some weird situations that you see every day. Obviously, some stories we tell our staff after like a day. It's like, well, over here, this thing happened with this parent or like some umpire, and it's like something we can't really do. It's just like the game of baseball. Sometimes it feels like something happens. Like anything, I feel like anything weird could happen. Right now, I'm like rewatching this thing with my mom. It's some YouTuber created like he read all of the MLB rule book, and it's like figuring out all these weird niche rules or something that just like stood out, just how they word it. So dealing with the just baseball itself is always can be weird in itself. All these nicheness stuff that you'll see every day. So there's something new. Something new will always pop up. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that something new, I think, that keeps us coming back to sports. That's what I felt, at least, too, is that even with its operations or event managing or for broadcasting, of course, it's something new. You never know. The very essence of a sports game is that you never know who's going to win. You might have an idea. You might know who's a favorite and an underdog, but you truly never know who's going to win. I think that's the beauty of it, and that's what makes it so much fun. So I appreciate your thought on that. I think that's very honest about how stressful it really was and how much time it took. But I really appreciate that thought because I think a lot of people don't know about what goes into running a Cooperstown event, running these type of tournaments, and it takes some time. It takes a lot of patience, but ultimately you're there to help out kids play a game. I think that's the most fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something you could see yourself doing? Working in a Little League setting, being with a TD, photography, any of the position that you did, is there anything that you can see yourself doing in the future?
I feel like I could see myself doing photography more. Definitely more on the production side. I was trying to apply to Savannah Bananas. They declined me. They did not accept.
Keep going.
At least they responded back. Let's go.
That's cool. That's actually
That's
pretty
fine.
cool.
At least they did. But yeah, I could definitely see myself doing more of this production side of things. But I also do still find a love for operation stuff as well.
So you still want to try and be an ops. Do you feel like Cooperstown solidified that with you, or is this something that you've been interested in during college, and Cooperstown was just something that maybe added a little bit to it?
Well, the operations definitely was Cooperstown, having that providing that for me. The whole production stuff was like kind of just like even like the podcast was just like some like hobby I would want to try to get into and start doing, but then it's like kind of like looks more like, damn, I would want to do more of this stuff, be behind production, also more like either behind the scenes or a little more in front of the scenes with operations. I would kind of want to be on both sides if I wish I could. It's hard to choose, I feel like, for me.
Yeah, the good thing is though, you've done a lot, and I think that is the biggest leg up you can have on anyone, is that you've done things and you've seen the other positions, so you know how they work and you know what you like, and even better, what you don't like. I think that is the most valuable thing. Do you feel like you being able to work in different positions helps you weed out and narrow in on something?
Yeah, I see other departments take place, and like, I would not want to do that. That just seems like boring or something that's like not even like close to being exciting. Like the photography thing, I was able to like just watch games and take pictures all day. Sometimes chat with some players on the side or some coaches. I had like two coaches. First of all, like, they might be from New York, but nah, they were New Jersey. They had the accent. They were just nonstop talking to me while I was taking pictures. Like, it was funny, but I was like, okay, can we chill out a little bit? it was funny. They were a good bunch of coaches there, but I was like, it was just like they were just talking.
Common New Jersey coach, Little League coach. That sounds accurate.
I love when the coaches like talk first, or like sometimes I just try to like initiate the conversation real quick while I'm just there. It's just, especially if I'm especially if I'm at the first game I'm taking pictures on, where like game's kind of just starting to start with the umpires having their plate meeting with the coaches. Usually I'm just chatting up a little bit. I get some like kids asking like, "What are you doing?" or like, "Can I get a photo?" It's like always fun.
That's good stuff, actually. Yeah, yeah. And you like that interaction, right? Like that close interaction with the players.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'll kind of finish off with this because we're getting a little long here. But
Okay.
with this your experience at Cooperstown, do you feel it could lead to anything, whether it's a job or I guess I'm really talking about a job. And do you feel like it has led to anything? Are there any connections that people know about, or do you feel like this was like just a really good experience, but maybe that there's not a lot that can come out of it?
I think there's a lot of things that could come out of this. It was a great experience working there. Some downfalls in some days, but like I think it was a great way to like actually like get into like sports stuff. Like the long hours helps a lot. It actually like I think build some character for the long run for bigger companies that like probably want more from you and want to expect more, and hopefully that you could stay longer, push the hours more, and like hopefully like stuff like that. But I'm hoping to branch out into similar roles with this for future things. And right now I'm looking at working at an Afram sports thing. I don't know if you heard of Aframs.
I haven't really. What is that?
No, it's a soccer. It's just more of a soccer, indoor, outdoor facilities. Over here, there's like 4 different facilities around. But it's a
Would that
small
be?
world.
Yeah, would that be managing the facility itself or something different?
Like right now, the main position would be a hostess, simply just behind the desk, taking calls, signing teams up, and stuff like that. That's kind of what one of my friends at Cooperstown, I met him my first year. We worked baseball ops the last 2 years, but then the third year, since he was a graduate, he got a position being one of the supervisors for that baseball operations. So that was him taking phone calls, him running around doing stuff, and this hostess thing at Aframs, it's not just like being on the desk taking calls. It's going to be more of like being able to like have to pitch in being a ref. They mentioned like I ref before it was rec, but hey, I refed before I could pitch in if I have to, or just something like cleaning up, doing other small things like that. So it's not just one thing. It's a little more to it. The main thing will be like behind the front of the desk taking calls, but other than that, it's a little more to that.
But it's a foot in the door at least.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then
Right now it's a little thing being done with school to just get on, but other than that, I'll be still looking. I'm trying to look at this Rochester. What's the minor league team in Rochester? The Bird.
The Red Wings.
Red Wings, yeah.
Nice.
Possibly look at them, but I don't know if I want to live in Rochester, but we'll see.
But you're making that next step. But that's that next decision you're making about moving somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So is that next for Evan? It's right now working at that with the. I'm sorry. What was it called? It's the soccer facility. Aframs. Okay. Work with Aframs right now, taking calls. Do you want to try and go up further in that, or is it you're still? This is a temporary thing. You're still job hunting.
We'll see. I'm still job hunting at the moment. So yeah.
Good. Okay. That's a very real answer. I mean, that's kind of like what the nature is post grad. Still just job hunting. You're picking up odd jobs, but still sticking around sport, working with Afram. Mm-hmm. And I mean, listen, that's kind of what it comes down to. But before we finish up, I just came up with a question about like your living situation in Cooperstown. Were you close to Cooperstown, or could you just go home, or what was that like?
This year I didn't have a car because my sister was kind of using it more for her job back home, so I was just mainly on site. Yeah, well, the last 3 years I've been on site, and they kind of like the clubhouse barracks things with other employees that it's usually those that aren't locals. So yeah.
What was that like?
What was that? Better. We had AC this year.
So you didn't have AC before that?
No, we just had a box fan blowing in my face getting through the day.
Okay, box fans. Okay, I mean that's pretty good. You had AC this time, so you didn't have to worry about it. But is that where they put all the employees?
Only ones that aren't locals. Yeah, we usually have. There's a really small area in the back. They kind of barracks. Yeah, because even the umpires, the ones that stayed throughout that tournament week, are in clubhouse barracks as well.
That's okay. Was that was that difficult, like day to day? Or did you get used to it?
It can be, but I was used to it in my third year. I was like, yeah, I'll deal with it. I have a question for you. What have you been up to? Are you looking? Are you job hunting? What's Billy doing over there?
We're job hunting a little bit. Yeah, nothing too crazy, I would say. I've done a couple things, like went to Chicago for a networking thing. This is what I've been telling people. I'm doing networking. That's my PR answer. I've been networking, and that kind of that to sound like an old head, that saves my bacon a little bit. And yeah, it's another way to say I have no job. I'm currently unemployed, but this can be my job for now, and I'm kind of hoping this turns out to be that way, to at least jumpstart my broadcasting career. So that's kind of like the thought. But we're still out there looking. I'm picking up odd jobs in my building right now, and that's about it.
Yeah, I probably should have used the word networking. I'm like the job
one,
at
right?
the job at Afram's like I'm applying for, but also like I haven't been on vacation in 5 years, so I have a vacation to Brazil coming on.
Let's go.
September 23rd to the October 3rd. So I'm like, I'll start my first day on the next day after I come back from Brazil. I didn't mention it to them, but like if I have to, I'll be like, I'm volunteering in Brazil. I'm doing something for school.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, because I haven't been on vacation in 5 years.
You gotta do it. You go with family?
Yeah, grandma, grandpa from my mom's side, and my aunt. So yeah,
Nice.
they invited me. So
Good. We gotta get into this more on a different segment, but I appreciate your time, Evan. Thank you for being so
Travel
willing
Bill.
to do this. Yeah, that right. Travel Bill. That's it. Yeah. All right, Evan. Thank you so much for joining me on this segment. This has been Business with Bill, and I'll see you in the next segment. Join me now, my good buddy Evan O'Brien, for Talking Ball with Bill. This segment is going to be all about just general sports talk, the happenings that are going on, and we so happen to be, I would say, like thinking about it, amongst my friend group, I would say you and I have one other really, and maybe two other really big baseball fans. So this is a good time for us to get our feelings about our respective teams off our chests. Me being a Mets fan, you being Yankees fans. We'll start with you. So last night, Yankees came up with a big win. I didn't watch that game. I was locked into football. The night before, that was an atrocious game from Devin Williams, from the pitching, and the umpiring, of course, was bad. It was just bad all around. But last night's game had some positives.
it did have some positive. Grisham hitting another home run, getting things going. McMahon had a great series. He hasn't really found his hitting spot yet, but he had a great series. And this yesterday he was 3 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs, I believe. So yeah, he definitely came in. Rodon pitching 109 pitches yesterday. Had some shakiness with after one of the calls for McMahon. I don't know if you saw that one.
Well, you know what I did see? Yeah, are you talking about that McMahon, that line drive?
On the transfer, apparently.
Yeah. It's the same umpire, right? That's the same umpire?
That is, yes, unfortunately, is the same umpire that we kind of dealt with last night, where kind of around the 6th inning I think both sides, this whole series has kind of been shit for home plate umpires. So, but yeah, there was a umpire report showing 15 out of 21 missed calls behind the plate by Brandon Walsh were for the Yankees. So yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
Do those like reports, do they mean anything to you?
I guess not, since like there's no like really. Yeah, like umpires have like some press conference that we don't see. We just see the typed out what they say, but there's nothing really consequential we ever see for like an umpire after a series or like a crew. Like nothing. Like I hope there is that behind the scenes, but like as fans we don't see anything. Teams don't. I have no idea if they hear anything from that, but yeah.
I think it feels like there should be a little bit stricter rules when it comes to umpires and making mistakes with calls. And I thought that was the case because I watched the whole video on this. Like they tightened up the strike zone. Not really. They tightened up what is like that borderline zone where it's like just a little bit off the plate now is still kind of a ball. So they tightened it up that way to where the ones that can go either way more oftentimes than not will be called a ball. Now, from my own viewing experience, I've only noticed this like a couple times. Everything else has felt kind of like nothing's changed a lot. Everything's kind of felt just as it is in the past few years. But they apparently have said that, so there should be tighter strike zones. I don't know if I felt that way when watching the Mets play. I don't know if you felt that way when watching the Yankees, but going back to the original point, there feels like there should be more ramifications if umpires struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
ultimately they're not playing the game, though. I will say.
Yeah, like the past few years, I think it's also just social media itself, not just baseball but other sports, where the amount of criticism refs and umpires are getting is absurd. I feel like it's doing a lot of damage to sports in itself. Like I've rarely like talk crap about like umpires and stuff, and like usually when I'm like watching a game and I see a call, I'm like I wait till like some sort of replay and like I could see the call, like I could make a fair judgment, not just like totally shit on like a umpire or ref for a call that I could look at and see it's correct. There's obviously some questionable ones. We have in the NFL now certain rules being placed because of a certain team down in Western New York. So I have a few those calls being made because of them, but hey.
People complain, I guess. It's an entertainment business, right? So it's still sport. It's still sport. One thing on the notes, since we're talking about officiating, they kind of really made it known during last night's game. You remember the taunting penalty that, oh my gosh, was it Nolan Smith got for the Eagles, or was it a different defensive end? I could have just messed that up completely.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was not watching at the time.
Okay.
But I've seen like just the unsportsmanlike conducts, the taunts and stuff like that. Like even it was college football. There was some sort of like celebration that like there was a flag for, and like it was kind of.
Was it a gun thing?
No, it was. I think it was Stanford, Hawaii. A little bit of a game-deciding play because of the penalty that was given up for some yardage. I think it was a defensive player for Stanford, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think they're trying to clean up. I say in quotes, the game with how it's being viewed. Like they really want to make it like there's respect and there's you're not putting down your opponent, which personally I'm for. I hate to see like it. There's no point, right? There's no point to show up your opponent. Like there's no point for that. However, like a little bit of emotion, I feel like shouldn't be that bad, but you should have some self-control. Yeah, like we saw, we saw to open up the game yesterday with Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott. Did Dak Prescott also spit? Yes, I saw that, but there was a difference. I think there was a distinct difference. And I don't know. Like, what do you think? What do you think about that whole play?
So I saw the replay of Dak Prescott spitting. It was obviously from a distance. He spit first, then looked at Jalen Carter. the spit from Dak Prescott had nothing to do with, unless like obviously I think Jalen Carter saw him spit, but like Dak was not intentionally do that. He just after he did it, he looked up, saw Jalen Carter looking at him. They gave him like a weird little face to him, and then like Jalen Carter started walking over to him, talking, and the loogie was out there.
Louis was out here. Yeah, it was sure out there. That's the dumbest thing ever, though. Too like I just why would you spit on a player? Like I just don't. That's where I draw. I don't understand that. That's where I kind of just draw the line of disrespect. Did you spit on someone? What?
And first
what are we talking about here?
At first, I was a little confused. I was like, did he spit someone? He had a helmet on, so I was like, obviously some helmets are different. They're not just full on covering the face. There's a little cage a little bit. So I was like, did he actually spit on him? He had his helmet on, and I was like, yep, there it was.
Nah, I guess it's crazy with the frames that these replays have. You could see, like, as disgusting as I'm going to make this sound, you could see the spit coming out of his mouth, and like the little bits of whatever that was in the spit hit his jersey too. Like you got a clear shot, and the official was right behind Carter, so he saw everything. He probably saw frame by frame that spit hit his jersey, which so dumb, and it ended up being a play factor too.
Yeah, the spit had like the formation like geese make. You know, like the frame that the snapshot of the whole thing like had like the geese how like they frame like a
like
V
the
formation.
flying V. Yeah,
that was what the spit was.
They were in flying V. The spit was in flying V. God, that's so nasty. Let's move on.
Okay.
So anyway, but to go to the whole point, I want to bring it back to your point about the officials real quick because I think that's actually a really good topic about how we like to really trash on the officials a lot. With baseball, with the NFL, basketball, you could definitely basketball there's a big part of it too. But it does kind of hurt the game when we're inadvertently giving them some power because we are talking about them. And I'm not saying that helps them make calls that determine games, but that's not the point. The officials are there to control everything. They're supposed to have incredible knowledge of the rules and ensure that everyone is playing within those rules. Now, things can happen where bad calls can determine games, but I feel they're so far and few between that really impact that many outcomes to where we should be crapping on the refs and then going into another conversation about, oh, they're rigging the game. That's like I think what this is kind of pushing to, like what that narrative is alluding at, is getting at.
Yeah, I hate the whole rigging stuff. I hate the whole anything. Like I always mentioned before, the social media thing is just nonsense. Always like, especially with the Chiefs. Chiefs is like the main thing. I feel like it kind of started a lot of this kind of trash talk towards officials, and like I always see like where was this for when the Patriots and stuff like that. There was a little bit, but obviously I grew up in that era of Tom Brady dominating the NFL altogether as a whole, and it's just like I don't know, like as a Giants fan, I feel like I don't really have that remorse, especially coming from the opposite side of the league and also experiencing the Giants taking care of the Patriots in the Super Bowl, especially with the undefeated season that they had.
I think that everything's under such a magnifying glass now. Everything is so accessible to where we can pick apart every single play so much more than we could even 5 years ago. Never mind 7 years ago, 10 years ago, when Brady was still there and still dominating teams. Because we can pick things apart so much more, because social media, like you're saying, is so much bigger. Now we can really look at these plays as individual plays that, this only happens to certain quarterbacks, or this is happening to just the Yankees and against the Astros. The Astros are always cheating, or for like a certain basketball team, they always get the calls. SGA only gets these calls, always gets the calls, right? Sure, there might be some validity to like how they officiate, especially with basketball. It's definitely different, but at the end of the day, I really feel that these officials are the best at what they do. They are there for a reason. There are good ones and there are bad ones, but overall, we can't be looking at them to determine wins and losses. It's about the players, and it's about what's happening on the field and on the court, on the ice, whatever it is. It's not about the officials. It should always be about the players. You should always look to them first amongst anything else.
Yeah, like how you mentioned the SGA, like there's a lot of, for basketball players, there's a lot of players that their ability to score is driving to the paint, and a lot of that is going to just deal with a lot of contact, and it's just the way it is. Like they're going to drive against your body and then try to score. That's simply what it is, and there's nothing, if you can't defend like some little bit of contact, then that's how it is. Like people, it's always like the whole people raising up their arms up straight up. It's like that's what you have to do. It's just I see more defensive like hands in college than I do in the NBA as a whole.
Like, what do you mean? Like
they're, I feel like they're actually
like they're showing their hands more.
They want the players in college to actually have their hands up all the time. They don't want them down, and I feel like in the NBA that's kind of a lost culture there, especially. They might just have them like forward and stuff like that, but they don't have them just like up and like, yeah.
That fundamental defense is big in coaches in college.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. That's another topic we should go into another time. But I think that's a really good point about the disparity of defense and how it's played versus in college and the NBA. Which I love NBA defense, by the way. I'm a big advocate for NBA defense and college defense. I think it's pretty. College defense is like so much hustle, very fundamentally sound, and there's a lot, and there's a purpose to that, right? But also there's, I think, a really good purpose to NBA defense and how much you have to rotate too. Evan, you have a question? Do you raise your hand feature?
Yeah, I'm using that feature.
I love
just
that. No,
to make
good.
things easier. But like I think you also mentioned like the Astros thing. Like I'm gonna rant a little bit as a Yankees fan because of this. But, like
floor is yours.
The thing is, Aaron Judge is getting booed in Houston. For what reason? I don't know. But Altuve gets viewed by multiple teams. So I like how like the whole like you don't get booed because you're a nobody, because you're somebody. So like he's getting booed for no reason just because Astros fans are, I don't know what they're tight about for him. But hey,
I just don't think they like you guys.
they don't like us apparently. I think that's just everyone, every baseball. That's I'm gonna rant a little bit more. The whole like if a Yankee fan says 27 rings and then like I can't believe we haven't won in like this many years, like you have all these championships in the past, but then it's the reverse. It's like you have all these championships, you should be grateful and stuff like that. It's like I don't know. It's like people
go.
There's a lot of, I forgot the word, but it's a lot of just like similar back and forth where like the success that happened in the past, so like you guys are so successful, but or it's blanking out. Like
the discourse between people is just like, you know what I mean? It's not. People still want you to like kind of, look back on the past and like.
Yeah, then they'll be
live in the glory days.
Yeah, it's either you have this many championships, or like you talk about this many championships and the success.
Mm-hmm. Let's switch gears now. So let's talk about the NFL. So football season's back. I was so happy, by the way. Me and one of my really good friends, we were just outside for like an hour and a half, running routes, just getting on the field. I had cleats on. I was on AstroTurf. I'm feeling like Justin Jefferson out here, playing with some of the kids in the park. Great time. Anyway, football, NFL. I thought, first of all, just in terms of a media, look of it, I just thought NBC put on a great show. Even with that hour-long rain delay, although they were great. I love the halftime crew, too. I thought they were I forget their names, but they were all amazing. Collinsworth I thought was excellent. I thought he broke things down really well. I think he articulated his points well, and like he wasn't just like people always talk about. He just loves the quarterbacks, and I think maybe Aikman falls into that same thing. But I thought he was awesome, and then Tirico was just still was really solid. It just felt so good to hear his voice, to hear especially Collinsworth and his usual isms. It felt really great. What did you think about just going back to football and watching it on primetime NBC?
Well, I was watching the Yankees games still.
Of course.
But
Absolutely.
I did have it on. I was paying attention to the score. It was still close. I was surprised by that aspect. I thought the Eagles were kind of just blow them out now, especially with Michael Parsons. So yeah. Without him was a big factor. That whole thing went down. Jerry Jones still proving that the defense and stuff is still solid, but wasn't able to get away with the win for them, as like there was just some drop passes, some overthrown footballs thrown, but solid game.
I thought it was the Cowboys surprised me, and they showed me. I think the biggest thing was how good their interior was. Now they have Kenny Clark. Like, sure, the Eagles' run game was still solid, but a lot of that was from QB sneaks, and there wasn't chunk plays from the run that Saquon was able to break free. Like, he had to make some people miss in the backfield. They were getting the interior was doing a really good job. Everyone on the D line was playing excellent. They just played. I think they played kind of passive, and the Eagles were able to just methodically get down the field. And they didn't have an answer for Jalen Hurts on his scrambles. Like, I think he had like 14 rushing attempts for like almost 60 yards, or it was 60 yards, around that number. And he looked really good in the rush game. He was very composed. His passing was fine. He had some nice. He had a bomb to Jahan Dotson, but overall it was solid. He had to use his legs a bunch because the Cowboys were kind of. We're playing really good coverage downfield, but I thought overall the Cowboys looked really good, and they could be a sneaky team. It is only week 1. I will say it's only week 1, but when you go against the defending Super Bowl champions, you're gonna get tested, and it's not like the Eagles were, did lose a lot of guys. However, Landon Dickerson did leave the game with a back injury, and he had to get a replacement, so that was definitely a factor, but. Cowboys are good. They held their own, and I'm curious to see how they're going to look the rest of the way. But overall, I was so excited for that first game. It was great. Great to watch it even from a Giants fan, even who I hated both these teams, but I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I was low-key kind of rooting for the Cowboys just to beat the Eagles because they're
me too.
better team.
Why? I don't know why I was. Like, sneaky I was too.
Team. Yeah,
Okay.
they're just a better team right now. So
Maybe that's it.
Low-key had a little bit of hope for the Cowboys to win that game.
Yeah, and let's just because you sent me, because we did this a lot during our Down to the Wire podcast, but we went over a lot of our takes and our thoughts for the season projections, and you quickly just sent me a list of your top NFC and AFC teams, and I want to go over that with you. So I'll quickly say the top 3 for each conference. And I want to know your thoughts. So for the AFC, you have the Ravens, Chiefs, and Bills. And the NFC, you have the Eagles, Lions, and the 49ers, which I feel like is definitely a big surprise. So first, give me your thoughts on the AFC, because I feel like that's a little chalkier than that's a little bit more chalk than anything.
I think that's pretty the chalkest of all chalks. I think that's pretty a basic response going into this season. I think the Ravens will improve a lot better this year, going around second time with Lamar and Derrick Henry in the backfield. But yeah, the Chiefs I think are still going to be the Chiefs. They might dip a little bit just because they are getting older now. That's the only reason why. But I still see them being a number 2 team in the AFC, especially with their own division. I know the Broncos made the playoffs last year, looking hot. Chargers have made it previously, is still shaky. Justin Herbert, is he the real deal? We don't know. And the Raiders kind of getting a new quarterback in Geno Smith there. We'll see how that thing works down in Oakland. So, but I think it's nothing you could. I'd probably switch up. Maybe the Texans, but it's hard to see.
And then let's look at the NFC with the Eagles, Lions, and 49ers. What were your thoughts with those three? Eagles being number one, okay. Lions, I can see that, sure. 49ers, though.
The 49ers, now that CMC has a little bit of injury, I forgot what
He's got a calf again.
Calf injury.
Apparently there's something. It's not DEFCON 1. That's what I saw on a report, but you never know.
I don't know. I never picked him up in fantasy. I clowned my friends who picked him up this year after that news broke out. So, but I still have confidence. I think their division isn't as competitive. I like the Rams. They lost Cooper Kupp. That's going to be a big deal. The Seahawks. Their starting quarterback is Sam Darnold. He had a great year with the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to do terrible this year. From last year's thing with J.D. McCarthy. We'll see how he does. But the Seahawks, I don't think that's the only comparison compatible team in that division. The Rams, I think, are just gonna be a solid 500 team, and then the Cardinals, we haven't really seen much since D-Hop was on the Cardinals team with Kyler Murray. So
okay. And then I'll ask you one more question about these 7 teams from each conference. Give me a couple thoughts on teams that you think that they're in your top 7 that maybe a lot of people are sleeping on that you want to give a little bit more insight on. I feel like the Finns as a top 5 team in the AFC, that feels high. I feel like on most people, and the Falcons being number 4 also feels, or even maybe the Seattle feel a little high to a lot of people. I want to know, or maybe those aren't the teams you want to highlight, but give me some of those hot takes that I feel that you might have.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins is going to be a hotter one. I feel like a lot of fans of the NFL are looking at the Dolphins. They're going into this year as minus 900 to either make the playoffs or win the Super Bowl or something like that, or whatever. But I think just in the division or something. But the Dolphins, I still feel confident in them being a competitive team because I feel like the last year was just what happened. They were not competitive at all with that division. I think the whole AFC East was just kind of just shot. So the Falcons, I had them last year. They were kind of even with the Bucs going into that NFC South division, and they were just neck and neck. So I gotta put them back. I think Kirk Cousins will have hopefully a better year coming around this time with Atlanta. So, and I think Baker's still gonna do his job with the Buccaneers, but I think the Falcons will be able to top that division and only show one representative from the NFC South. And I do have the Commanders dropping a lot, so I just think there's going to have a sophomore year for that whole team, and that's coming back. It's just going to be a sophomore slump altogether. Not just for Daniels. I think he's still going to do decent out there on the field, but not as much as the whole team as a whole.
So right now, Penix, by the way, is the starter for the Falcons. Does that shift your mindset a little bit?
What are we doing?
Penix is the starter.
I do like Penix. I do like Penix a lot because there's a whole talks when he got drafted after they signed Cousins. That's okay. We'll see.
Okay, so would you still have them as number 4 in the NFC with Penix?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Okay. All right.
AFC South is
I'm
trash,
for it.
anyways. The South is trash.
It isn't great. So someone's got to win, right? Someone's got to come up on top.
Yeah, someone has to.
No, Jacksonville's AFC. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
Well, they're still in the South. They're just
the AFC South. Yeah.
The South just sucks.
They stink. They're up for anyone, which makes them more fun. which could make them fun.
It's like the Central in baseball.
Except that isn't NL Central's good.
Yeah, but the Brewers. We'll see how they actually pan out in the playoffs time. But yeah, I do like the Brewers a lot this year.
Yeah,
but
the AL Central's
AL Central has always been horrendous.
Yes, that's correct. Well, Evan, I really appreciate your time. Any other things that you want to get off your chest about sports that are happening right now? NFL, baseball, anything that you need this platform for?
One thing I'm surprised we haven't talked about, I feel like it hasn't really been mentioned around the MLB world. We haven't had a no-hitter pretty much. You could say perfect game as well, but no-hitter is the main thing. If that doesn't happen, a perfect game, but hasn't happened this year. We haven't had a non-season of any of that happening since 2005, and we're pretty close to that happening this year.
20 years.
So that's kind of pretty crazy.
Do you think that's just like that feels random? You know what I mean? That doesn't feel like anything. I don't know if that's a trend. You know what I'm saying? I don't think
it's a trend, but it's just like a random thing that just eyeing. Like we had some close ones. I think there was Orioles pitcher Brandon Young who had a chance. I think he carried one into like do 7 innings. I think he lost
the Mets almost got no hit.
The Yankees. Brian Wu, he almost took the.
Brian Wu almost no hit the Yankees,
and the Yankees actually won that game.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I remember that.
So.
That was a crazy game. But yeah, is there any guess on who you think could throw a no hitter? I feel like September's late.
It's too late,
right?
Unless because like contenders, especially if you're playing a shitty team, it's really you're not going to try as much. You want to get the wins against the bad teams, but. Who could do it? I feel
it's really anyone, because that's a dart throw. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel I love this rotation a lot. The Cubs rotation. I know they lost Steele early on in the year. Imanaga's back throwing. They have Horton. I think he's a rookie who's throwing tremendously well this year. And then you have Matthew Boyd, who I like a lot, who came from the Tigers this year. So
one of those guys. So Boyd, you got Rhea, Shota Imanaga, Cade Horton.
Yeah.
You think any of those guys are going to be the ones to do it?
If not, Cam Schlittler of the Yankees.
Wow. Okay. Taking your Yankees call.
He has actually, like, I need to see more of him next year, but I'm excited for him a lot.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I bet you're excited too with playing
yeah, I know we didn't really get a chance to go into the Mets, but yeah.
Talk about your Mets. You have
I'll keep it pretty brief, but
because there's both series for the Yankees and Mets. Yankees facing Toronto at home, and then I think the Reds are hosting the Mets. That's a series where the Reds are trying to push for a playoff spot in the wild card, and you have the Giants hoping the Reds take care of the Mets, so you never know.
So, real quick, this just broke 15 minutes ago, actually, or there was a story 4 minutes ago. I think it happened whenever it happened, but that Senga is taking his option to go back to the minor leagues, and we just called up our number 5 prospect, Brandon Sprout. I don't know, Sprout or Sprout. I'm so sorry if I'm whiffing that name, but this is after we've called up Jonah Tong, and of course, Noah McLean before that, who both of them were excellent. Tong only had 1 start, and he was great, and he was solid in that one. McLean has been nails in his first 3 in his starts. So, once again, we're putting more pressure on another rookie pitcher, but we need it. The starting rotation has been so bad. It's been terrible at getting innings. We cannot get out of the 4th inning. Give me at least if Holmes goes 5 innings, I'm fine with that because he's a converted reliever. I can deal with that. Everyone else has no excuse. Everyone else has no excuse to give me 6. I don't understand how we can't get 6 innings or even like 5 1/3 or something like that. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to get 3 outs in the 4th. It's terrible, and we need the help desperately. So I understand why we're actually bringing them up. McLean, I'm sorry. Sprout didn't have amazing numbers. It was kind of roller coaster this past year, but in the past, like, I think 11 starts, or like I saw it's like more recently 10 starts. It's been good. So that gives me at least something just to mix it up, because that's really all we have left to change this up. The bats have been awesome. Everyone's been hitting. We have the best average with runners in scoring position. So it's not about us scoring runs, but the pitching. We're taxing our bullpen. That's been the whole storyline for the Mets the entire season. I'm worried about the postseason with the bullpen. Helsley has been an absolute disappointment, and I feel so bad because he's got the stuff. He's got an elite fastball. He has a solid metrics-wise slider. You know, he just came, like 2 years ago, I think he had 40 saves, at least 40 saves. So the guy is still there. He can still perform. I don't know if it's him tipping pitches, if his stuff isn't playing anymore. Something isn't connecting with him, that he's getting smashed, man. He's getting crushed. And we're going to need him come postseason time, because we're using a lot of guys right now, and we're going to need guys in high leverage situations to trust. Helsley, we traded for him to be that guy, and he just hasn't been. So it's been pitching that has been the number one issue with the Mets. Hopefully Sprout can continue to just that ride the hot hand of the farm system pitchers we've been bringing up. But it's been a fun time to watch the Mets, but also really sad. So I'm hopeful. Francisco Alvarez coming back after injury too, so that's good. But it's going to be a tough series against Cincy. It was a big series. They're right on our tails. I would love a sweep, of course, but 2 out of 3 I'm never mad at. So, big series coming up. It's basically playoff baseball now. It's playoff baseball at this point, and we have to treat it as such.
Yeah, like I'm worried about the Yankees bullpen. It has started early on with dealing with Williams early on this year. Even like our accusations of Duvall has pretty much been similar sites of Williams this year. Weaver has been getting touched up recently, and just a lot of walks for the Yankees, I feel like, in general, have been the case so far near the end of this year. But the offense looks like they have been rolling. It was pretty much started with the boost against bottom-of-the-barrel teams of the White Sox and the Nationals, so that very much helped taking care of them and then boosting this offense. So I'm also hoping for a sweep against the Toronto Blue Jays. It's very needed, especially we're 3 games back behind them now. We'll have to deal with pitching against I know Bassett Sunday, Saturday's Max Scherzer, and whoever is tonight.
Yeah, Gosman. And you have Schlittler. Schlittler, not Schiller. Schlittler. My fault.
Yeah,
Schlittler.
Yeah, we have some. Yeah, we have Schlittler, we have Hill, and we have Fried back again. So I'll be Bassett, Fried. I'll potentially be at that game, watching that game. So that'll be nice.
There you go. Big series for both the Mets and Yankees. Yankees at 78 and 62. Mets at 75 and 65. Listen, it's crunch time now. Like, those are fine records, but if you compare the standings, it doesn't look that amazing. Yankees right now, you guys are at the top of the wild card spot, but still probably on the hunt to actually take the division. So it's especially against your divisional opponent, definitely all matters.
Yeah, like Jazz said, I have a screenshot of what he tweeted out plus what he said 2 days ago. We're going out there and win, and then the division, quotes, and then we're going to go and win the World Series.
I mean, he just stated the obvious, but like, okay, I don't know what else he's supposed to say, but
that was. Let's see when was that? That was. Let me screenshot this. Does not say, but whatever. Was it just this Saturday? I think it was just this Saturday, or last Saturday.
So
We'll see, man. It's going to be exciting stuff at the end of the year. September baseball is here. Football is here. It's a very fun time in sport right now. College football, of course, too. So,
yeah, teams are
Evan-
struggling as well.
oh,
In
yeah.
baseball, teams are struggling. You see the Mariners. A quick last question, last topic. AL MVP.
I had this thought, too. I saw this. I've been slightly convinced of Cal Raleigh,
Okay,
and it's close.
it's close.
You can make an argument
I
for
know.
Cal Raleigh.
Early
you
in
can
the
make
year, I was like, Cal Raleigh is right there, neck and neck.
but there's a Hank Aaron Award now for the best hitter in baseball. That's Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is by far the best hitter in baseball. I think that Cal Raleigh right now offers the most value to his team and is the more valuable player at his position than Aaron Judge.
Even with Judge missing some games, now he's not playing the outfield right now, but he's still hitting. Cal
Yeah.
Raleigh has slumped. He's still at 50 home runs. People are, he's going to break Aaron Judge's record.
But he's not the best. I'm not saying Cal Raleigh's the best hitter in baseball. Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball.
He's batting like 250 now, Raleigh, I think.
I think he still has more homers. He's got more RBIs.
Cause
But the homers, because of the homers, of course. But
yeah,
Aaron Judge is the better hitter. Plain and simple. He's the better hitter. And if he gets the MVP award, he deserves it. But he's the best hitter in baseball. There is a extreme premium with Cal Raleigh doing what he can do. And he's still a solid defensive catcher. He's
Yeah.
a solid defensive catcher who is hitting at an elite level. 250, even if I think it's like 250, which is league average. We're talking league average here. That's league average amongst all hitters. A league average hitter for a catcher, I think is already great. For a guy who's a solid defensive catcher, who it's tough to, according to articles, he's actually great with the pitching staff. He commands a good game. So you have that part of the game that he's really good at defensively, and then also he mashes. He's a switch hitting catcher who mashes from both sides. So if Aaron Judge wins, he deserves it. But Cal Raleigh is the more valuable player at his position. There's no other catcher in baseball doing what he's doing.
yeah. And no hate to Cal Raleigh. I actually was a big fan of him before this season's a few years back because I was like, he's a bigger guy. He's a switch hitting, obviously, that draws a lot of attention for a catcher. Because I was like, he was like, is he going to do a little bit of, because I saw he has a lot of pop, and I was thinking like of Rutschman, like he has pop and a little bit of speed, and like pretty both good defensive catchers for their team. So I still love Cal Raleigh. Just I think you have to do with Aaron Judge. That's all.
Sure. I'll give it to you. I'll give that to you, man. I see the argument. I definitely do. And I was Team Aaron Judge before, but then I read that article, and then I think I'm convinced that Cal Raleigh should win the
We
MVP.
do also next time look back at our award predictions.
Yeah, well, we actually should, because I remember I think we both had Cal Raleigh high as one of the better catchers in baseball too. So,
Not for any awards,
but just in terms of position, like, yeah, I don't know if we had. I don't think there's no shot we had him.
want to quickly
Anywhere.
look at?
Sure.
I'll quickly try to make this quick. Find screenshots. To have it. Yeah. AL Rookie of the Year. I had Jackson Jobe. You had Roman Anthony.
Well, it was
Not
gonna be
that-
awesome until he's got hurt. That was gonna be a hit.
We both had Dylan Cruz in the NL. Cy Youngs. We both had Garrett Crochet. Not bad of a pick. I unfortunately had Justin Steele, got hurt, and you had Zach Wheeler, who's currently hurt.
Who's done for the year? Yeah, I know.
MVP. I had Judge. You had Gunnar Henderson.
I'm such an idiot. What's wrong with me?
I had Shohei. I was just going chalk with these MVPs, and you had Fernando Tatis. Having a solid year, just as not much pop.
No.
AL Manager of the Years. I have Mark Kotze is taking a risk on the athletics. You have Alex Cora, still not bad. He could probably still win it. And NL Manager of the Year, I had Craig Counsell. Probably not going to be his year for winning that, but not bad.
Yeah. Wait, who did I have for NL? Did I have Craig Counsell too? Or no, did I have
We both had Craig Counsell, yeah.
We both had Craig Counsell? Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
My hopes were high for the Cubs. And the
Me too. I know, we were both very in.
My World
on the
Series
Cubs.
matchup is the Yankees-Cubs. So,
We'll see. I mean, it still very much could happen.
yeah.
It still could happen. We'll see, man. But it's been a fun year. It's been fun to keep track of baseball, and like it's crazy that we're in September now, and things are getting into playoff time, and we're looking at these awards now like they really matter. Every game matters now. It's a lot of fun to look at, and it's exciting time. It's weird. I have to because I'm like in a football mindset right now, but also being that our teams are in playoff races, I'm still locked into baseball too. So it's kind of like I'm going back and forth between these trains of thought. So
Yeah, push it to the side. Football can wait because the Giants are. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Got the Commanders at 1, so we shall find out. Evan, thank you so much for joining me on this segment, for taking the time to do both of them. We had some issues before and some recording, and so you've been really appreciate with your grace and allowing us to kind of work through it anyway. So I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you all later.
That's it. First episode in the books. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. It's seriously, I can't wait to keep showing more episodes. We'll have different guests in the future. I'm sure Evan will be back for more topics and to show more about his awesome charts. And he's got some really cool stuff that he's made by himself. He's just a true ball lover, and I love him for that. So he's a great guest, and he'll definitely be on again. I'll definitely be more timely with the uploads and in relation to when I record, so things aren't crazy behind. Just 5 days is definitely very ridiculous, but it'll definitely get like I said, things will get ironed out. The edits won't be as bad. It'll be a lot more smooth. We're just figuring this out for the first time, me and you. So thank you again so much for everything. I can't wait to go on this ride with you, and talk to you all later.